We have over $3 billion in assets under management. That's less than 5% of all alternative asset managers have north of 3 billion, right? So not only are we entering an asset where, certainly we have a significant amount of assets under management, but then you start to think about the exposure to the $10 trillion public equity markets that now people can access through ETFs and indexes, and they'll be able to get the Abacus name in there.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Jay Jackson. He's the CEO of Abacus Global Management. And Jay, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Man, doing well, Steve. Thanks.
Good. Good to have you along. I know you've had some significant news out. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, those not familiar, remind everyone a little bit about the company.
Sure. Abacus Global Management, publicly traded company. We're an alternative asset manager, but we're also the origination company and market maker of the ultimate asset that we are asset managers of. And we capitalize on utilizing lifespan and lifespan-based data and financial products related to not just insurance, but other asset allocations.
Yeah. So the news out today is that you've been asked to join the Russell 2000, which gets you into the Russell 3000. So for those not familiar, obviously a big coup for the company. Tell me a little bit about your reaction to it to begin with.
Yeah, we're thrilled, right? Like, I think this was the natural next step as you look at the growth of any public company as they start to get included in different indexes. Abacus has been in existence 20 years. So this really gives a broader opportunity set for investors that might just typically do passive investing through indexes. And now they'll be getting Abacus in that name. And so, we think that this broadens our overall investor base, provides some more stability around the volume, as well as stability around the purchase price of the stock. And so, we think that, again, this is just the next step that we would continue to see, and will be added to more and more indexes. I think that there's the Russell 1000 and others that we're certainly open to being added to as well.
Maybe you can sort of explain to people how you qualify for something like this. What kind of companies are they looking for, and that sort of that tier that puts you into it now?
Sure. In this case, it was, you have the Russell 3000, which is almost all public companies. But, particular criteria comes down to, one, how long you've been public, and are you a company that's from a regulatory point of view up to date with all of your current filings with the SEC. They do consider things like profitability, but more importantly, they're looking at things like the average float and the trading volume of your stock to make sure that you can absorb the amount of shares within the indices. So these typically have a huge positive effect ultimately to the company that gets added. So, it's a good thing for our shareholders from a liquidity point of view, but also typically you see some positive reaction in stock pricing as well.
It's amazing when you look at sort of read a bit more about it, and we're talking about these companies involved in this with 10.6 trillion in assets. I mean, it really is staggering when you think about the kind of company and the company that you're keeping now.
It is. It's really interesting, right? Like, Abacus as a business, we have over $3 billion in assets under management. That's less than 5% of all alternative asset managers have north of 3 billion, right? So not only are we entering an asset where, certainly we have a significant amount of assets under management, but then you start to think about the exposure to the $10 trillion public equity markets that now people can access through ETFs and indexes, and they'll be able to get the Abacus name in there versus doing that individually. Like I said, these typically have really positive incomes for a number of the companies that get added.
Well, Jay, congratulations on inclusion
Thanks.
in the Russell 2000, 3000 now, and we really appreciate your time today as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right. Jay Jackson, the CEO of Abacus Global Management.